Hello everyone, today I will have to talk about the Khmer Krom that is nowadays under the administration of Vietnam. The story of Khmer Krom is a complex one that is steeped in history, politics, and war. It is a tale that has been told and retold for centuries, and it has been fraught with controversy and conflict. The question of why France cut Khmer Krom to Vietnam has been asked for decades, and it continues to provoke intense debate and discussion. To understand the answer to this question, it is important to begin by examining the history of Khmer Krom and its relationship with France. Khmer Krom is an area of southern Vietnam that was once a part of the Khmer Empire, an ancient kingdom that ruled much of what is now Cambodia, Thailand, and Vietnam. When France colonized Vietnam in the late 19th century, Khmer Krom became part of French Indochina, along with the rest of Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia. Under French rule, Khmer Krom was treated as a separate entity from Vietnam, with its own unique cultural, linguistic, and religious traditions. However, this distinction was not always recognized or respected by the Vietnamese, who saw Khmer Krom as a part of their country and sought to assimilate its inhabitants into Vietnamese culture. This tension between the two groups would eventually lead to political unrest and violence, with both sides claiming the same land and resources. In the years leading up to World War II, tensions between the French and the Vietnamese began to escalate, and Khmer Krom became a focal point of the conflict. The Vietnamese saw the Khmer Krom as a key part of their struggle for independence from France, while the Khmer Krom saw themselves as independent people who were being oppressed by both the French and the Vietnamese. During the war, France was occupied by Germany, and Vietnam was taken over by Japan. The Khmer Krom saw this as an opportunity to push for independence, and they formed a resistance movement with the help of the Vietnamese and other allies. However, when the war ended and France reasserted its control over Vietnam, it also took back control over Khmer Krom. After the war, France attempted to balance the competing claims of the Vietnamese and the Khmer Krom, but it was ultimately unsuccessful. The Vietnamese continued to push for control over the entire region, while the Khmer Krom fought for their independence. In the end, France decided to cede control of Khmer Krom to Vietnam, in the hopes that this would bring an end to the conflict. The decision to cut Khmer Krom to Vietnam was not a popular one, and it sparked protests and demonstrations throughout the region. Many Khmer Krom felt betrayed by France, who they saw as having let them down in their struggle for independence. Meanwhile, the Vietnamese were emboldened by their victory and continued to push for control over the rest of Indochina. In conclusion, the decision to cut Khmer Krom to Vietnam was a complex one, driven by a mix of political, historical, and cultural factors. While it may have been made with the best of intentions, it ultimately failed to bring peace to the region and instead set the stage for further conflict and division. Today, the legacy of this decision can still be felt in the ongoing struggle for autonomy and independence that continues to play out in the region.